All right, we are live. Welcome everyone, and happy Friday, Jovial Friday. And we're doing another installment of Get a Clue in 52 for Speakers with my friend and co-author Sue Mathieson from all the way down under in Melbourne, Australia. How are you, Sue?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you, Jeff. Yes.
All
I had lots on this week, a few wins technically with some website stuff. So that was good. Got into some an online, from a speaking perspective, did just an online workshop thing, which was a bit of fun, and talking about looking at a hot seat where a gentleman was working with some people live. So that was a bit of fun. And then, of course, the highlight, 90-day challenge and starting all-star sessions. So really fun to see people online together, and that was great.
Yeah, it's an interesting time of
you?
it's an interesting time of year. I've been saying all this week, hey, Labor Day is over, but the rest of the year has just begun, right? And it's neat because of Labor Day here in the United States, right? Like the summer, it's like we creep into summer, but it's more like after Labor Day, football season starts, school's back in session. It's kind of like a more definitive crossover. And it's not technically, summer's not technically over yet. It's going to be later on in September, I believe, is when officially. But as far as calendars and scheduling and stabilizing, getting kids back in school or back from summer vacations, we cross over Labor. It's like, all right, we got the rest of the year in front of us now. So I'm back on campus at San Diego State. I got 88 new learners. They're already on, introducing themselves and doing their text delivery exercises. And I'm teaching them delivery style and how we don't want to read word for word, which is funny because that's what we do every week, is we read word for word.
It is.
But we're like deliberate about it, right? We have all this joviality in between and after and during. Sometimes I interrupt my own word for word because my stream of consciousness needs to flow, and the context with which I wrote this is different from the context with which I'm reading it. So anyway, so we're talking about delivery styles. And when it comes to public speaking, Sue, it's two things. Every speech is two things. It's what's being said and how it's being said. Content and delivery. Content and delivery. So at this stage of our semester, I'm getting them focused on delivery. Later on in the semester, we'll pay important attention to the importance of content. How do we speak to inform? How do we speak to persuade? How do we back up our claim statements with evidence and reasoning? What counts as evidence and supporting material for all of that? Okay, that's later. But we're focused on delivery now, and part of delivery is what you and I are talking about in the book. We're talking about, there's three aspects of delivery. When I'm teaching students in the classroom, there's three things we need to pay attention to when it comes to delivery. Number one is style. There's only 4 delivery styles: manuscript, memory, impromptu, and extemporaneous, right? So one is style. 2 is nonverbal communication. How, Kluby snack, right? How you're saying what you're saying is in fact what you're really saying.
Yes.
Okay. And so what I teach my students is that if I'm reading word for word, my voice is down instead of up and out. I'm bound by the rhythm and the nature of the word for word. And so it may compromise some of my natural emotions. Sometimes I may not voice the same emotion or emphasis or pitch or tone when I'm reading it word for word as that was going on in my mind when I wrote it, right?
Yes.
If I have to hold what I'm reading, it's restricting my gestures, right? I'm going to hesitate to make use of all of my space in the setting. If I have to read, I don't want to walk and read at the same time. Does this make you follow? So I can keep going about all the aspects of our nonverbal communication that get compromised if we're reading word for word, manuscript style. Of course, memorization, it's too risky. You might forget, right? I never encourage people to memorize word for word what they want to say. You want to memorize elements of your intro, elements of your conclusion, elements of transition sentences, right? I want to memorize elements or objectives, but not the exact words, right? Impromptu. Anyway, so that's what we're teaching. And then the third thing about delivery is format. How do you structure? What's the form? How do you organize your content? And so what we're doing right now is like the basics of the basic of the basic is tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Intro, body, conclusion, right? To keep it super simple. But once you master the road to another Kluby snack, The road to mastery is paved with fundamentals, right? And on Fridays, we're trying to put the fun back in the fundamentals.
Indeed, exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of a preview of where we're at. Let me just do a slightly, more detailed overview. Unless you have anything else to say, do you want to overview us or catch us up on where we're at and how we're about
go
to do?
for it.
All right. So you're Sue and I'm Jeff. Okay, we got that out of the way. Hello, everyone. But the idea is all of these Get a Clue in 50, actually all of these, I've done 4 of them now, one with Sue here. All these Get a Clue, the 4 Get a Clue in 52 books, they all have 52 tips and they're all in 5 categories. So what we did was we started with section 1 in this book is playing the integrity game. And so it's a different book that I've written, but it's a 10-point model. And right now we're in 90-day challenge season. So I do this with you on Fridays, but on Wednesdays, starting 2 days ago and continuing for the next 11 weeks hereafter, is we're playing the integrity game over the course of 90 days. And I challenge everybody to play with us. And you're going to be an all-star in our session 2 weeks from now. I'm going to talk more about that later on in our segment today. But for now, what we want to understand is we took these 10 points in the integrity game model and we made them the first 10 tips to establish our structural integrity, our foundation, our wireframe, our resilience, our focus as a speaker. Or why do we want to be a speaker? Or what do we want? Why do we want to use speaking in our career? What are we doing with our career? Who are we in this world? And how is speaking integrate with who we are in this world, right? So those are the 10 tips we started with. And then we went on to bring out your brand. So once you've got the wireframe and the structure and the foundation, now you can decorate it and you can customize it and you can paint it and you can interior design it. You can landscape it. In other words, you can create some differentiation and start to have some unique promises to the world. Bring out your brand. We talked about that 10 tips worth. Then we got into the meat, like the heart, the epicenter of our journey together, Sue. And we laid out in section 3, we covered 8 steps to fearless public speaking. And we had 2 extra tips on top of that, which were mindset tips. But then starting with tip 23, 24, 25 through 30, were 8 steps to fearless public speaking. And the fifth of those, tip number 27, but the 5th step is outlining strategy. And outlining strategy is so important, so important. It gets its own section. So here we are now in section 4, breaking down the 5th step into its elements, its forms, and its functions. Because organizing our thoughts and getting our format together, commanding format and letting format be our friend, right, is something that's going to enhance our preparation and really put us in a position to be conversational, to have better nonverbal communication, to have more fidelity, more integrity. Everything's going to come together beautifully, right? And my students are worried about making mistakes. It's like, hey, no. I make mistakes all the time, but nobody calls me on it because I'm being myself. I'm so being myself that you almost don't see the mistakes or you ignore them because there's so much fidelity or there's so much animation. There's so much pure nonverbal coming through in what I'm sharing, right? That if I repeat a word or if I do a false start or if I tongue click or throat clear or if I run on sentence or rant, none of that matters because I'm just effusing the authenticity and the goodness and my passion for what I'm doing. So there's other times where you want to be exact, of course, if I'm quoting somebody else or giving credit where credit is due to another source that I found for this. There's time and a place for everything, but you understand what we're getting at. So here we are in section 4, and we know, of course, section 5, we're going to close out with a lot of fun, 12 tips for practice building. We're going to get into building a practice around speaking or making sure you understand where speaking fits on your org chart if you're building some other practice and using public speaking to market or subject matter expert, or where does public speaking fit in the 12 accountabilities of building a practice into a business. So we're going to end the year there, but for now, back to section 4, let's do a review real quick. So we started with a mindset tip. Tip number 31 was getting into the mind of your audience and really anticipating the questions that are going to be in the minds of your audience so you can answer them before they ask them, right? Yes. I don't want my audience listening to themselves. I want them listening to me. So how about I just go ahead and answer that for you before you ask it, right? So there's predictable questions, etc. And here they are. Should I pay attention to this? Yeah, I'm going to command your attention. All right, well, what is this about? Thank you for asking. Let me tell you what this is about. Well, why should I listen? Well, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should listen. Right? Okay, cool. Well, why should I listen to you? Well, because I'm the expert, or I'm the only expert in the room, or there's probably a lot of people that could talk about it, but I'm the one that got hired for the gig. Okay. And what's that behind you? What's that behind you? Anyway, bottom line, why am I the good person? I may not be the best person in the world, right? But why am I good? Why should you listen to me? What do I have
Yeah.
to say about this? Where did my information come from? What is my experience, my passion, what am I bringing to the table? We got to be aware of that, right? Whether it's third party who introduces us before we speak and we make sure they're prepared with the right credibility pieces, and or we are able to be comfortable with our accomplishments enough where we're able to state some of our own credibility pieces. Yeah. And so that takes us to today, tip number 36. Now, before we get into reading word for word, which is what we're going to do because we always do it, I'm going to invite you again. And you got anything, Sue? Anything you want to ask or comment on as I summarized our sections and our tips in section 4 that have gotten us to where we are today?
No, there's nothing specific that I want to highlight before we get into this. No, I think if we get into it and then I'll comment more afterwards.
Okay, well, here we go. Let's get into it. If you're following along at home, page number 150 in your copy of Get a Clue in 52 for Speakers with Sue Mathieson. Here we go. Element 5, signpost the main points. Because I teach that nothing is more important in public speaking than a connection with the audience, I encourage you to see this 5th element of your intro as an agent of connection, quote unquote. I like that, an agent of connection. I say this because an audience that loses where the speaker is or wonders where the speaker is going with this is an audience that has lost connection. And so here's the Kluby snack. Nothing is more important in public speaking than a connection with the audience. Let me get back to word for word. By succinctly letting your audience know the main points of your speech, the main points your speech will cover, you create a sense of orientation for your audience that helps them follow along and stay with you as you progress through your speech.
Yeah, it's almost like giving them a compass.
Indeed it is. This step is separate from, but works hand in hand with effective transition sentences, which we'll discussed next. I don't know why it says discussed next. Like our next tip, we will, like, isn't it funny? Why did that look good last year when we wrote this, but all of a sudden it's an eyesore? That's funny how that happens, but which is our next tip? Anyway, here we go. For now, realize that this 5th element of your introduction is a critical item of orientation for connecting with your audience. Again, it's easy to come up with phrases you can use in setting up the delivery of your preview. And I'm going to give you 4 examples right now. In the time I've been allotted, I've chosen to cover the following main points. Or 2, I love this topic so much I can speak about it forever, but respecting your time, I've condensed my presentation into 3 main points. Or here's another way of going about it. Of all the factors we could examine today, we're going to pay close attention to 3. And then finally, as an example, there's more examples, but this would certainly not be the occasion to discuss A, B, or even C, but perhaps there has been no better time to examine X, Y, and finally Z. Right? So these letters are for variables, right? This isn't the time to talk about Easter, Thanksgiving, and Halloween, but there's perhaps no better time to talk about Labor Day and whatever it is, like Labor Day, Veterans Day, and I don't know, I'll just say it, Christmas. All right, let me get back to word for it. It's just Christmas is just such an obvious holiday. I like going to the non-obvious one. Anyway, here we go.
Okay.
Each example above, except for the last one where I used letters as variables, ends with the ... parentheses, ellipses, I believe, and parentheses. What follows the ... is something you could probably hear in your head. First, we'll cover X, then we will dive into Y, and to wrap up, we'll cover Z, end quote. There are a number of different ways to do this second part of the element, but I hope you get the idea. Remember, the more experienced you are with this, the more creative you will become in the exact ways you deliver this 5th element. But no matter what, you must make sure you are clearly stating the main points in a deliberate and obvious way that resembles a sign posted on the highway overpass indicating the name and number of miles to the next 3 exits. Remember, and this is bolded, so I'm going to embolden my voice. Remember. I can't even do it without laughing. It's so funny. Remember as well, you are still in your introduction. So be careful to simply state your points without going, or don't elaborate on it. I'm going to explain. Do not explain or elaborate. Just stating a label, title, phrase that represents the main points is all you should offer at this stage of your speech, the introduction. Again, the signposting of your main points is easy to deliver compared to the first 4 elements, but it is as or more critical than all of them in helping you and your audience stay oriented as you progress through your speech.
And I have this image come to mind of a maze. As a speaker, we have the advantage of being able to look from above and see the entirety of the maze. We know what's ahead. However, by following each of these tips, we are gently leading the audience through that maze because we are confident in where we are going. They feel that confidence and can focus on what we are delivering.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. With this tip, we've completed the 5 elements of your introduction. Here's a quick overview of them. The 5 elements of an introduction. Number 1, command attention, ask a question, right? Of all the ways that you can command attention, I recommend asking questions. It's the easiest, best way that I love most. And there are several questions, but anyway. Number 2, state your topic or purpose. What is one sentence that succinctly declares what your speech is about or intended to do? 3, motivate the listener. Provide reasons why your audience should listen to your speech. And it's plural there, reasons. Never just offer one reason. Offer several reasons because different segments of your audience might be there for different reasons. And if you're doing good audience analysis, you can get into the mind of your audience and imagine all the reasons that they might want to listen or benefit. So it's most of the people will know why they're there, but it's even better if you give them 2 or 3 reasons that they hadn't considered about why they're going to get more out of it, right? Again, like you said in your comment above here, Sue, you really emphasized what's so important about all of this is that we're not speaking to or at our audience. We want to grab them and take them through. We want to be guides. We want to be ushers, escorts, Sherpas, if you will. Okay. Number 4, establish your credibility. Why are you the person most qualified to tell your audience what you're about to tell them? And 5, as we discussed today, signpost your main points. Tell them the 3 main points you're going to tell them, but don't tell them anything about those 3 main points. This is a signpost stating what's coming. You're not at that destination yet. Now that you've learned the 5 elements of your introduction, it's time to discuss the 6th element of effective outlining, which is transition sentences. So that's where we will be next week for tip number 37 overall. We're going to talk about transition sentences. But we've covered the introduction, right? There's 5 things we want to do. I want to grab your attention, tell you what this is about, why you should listen to me, and I'm going to let you know where we're going with all of this. Hopefully I'm readying your listening and you're ready to grab me by the arm and walk hand in hand. And oh my God, what perfect timing. I'll say that no matter when she shows up. It's like perfect timing. Here's Dee. Happy Friday, Dee. We've got it's like when Dee shows up, the energy shifts. But hang on a second, Dee. Let me ask you, Sue, do you have some feedback or some initial comments on this tip that we've just read? Especially, well, I'll just leave it open-ended there. You go ahead.
Just the sense of these 5 elements of the introduction that we've been talking about, the shift from not talking at the audience, but to I'm coming alongside the audience and I'm bringing them through. It for me, it just changes how I see my audience. That I'm bringing them into what I want to share with them. Therefore, these elements are key to the success of that and bringing them along with me because I want them to experience the journey with me. And so I think what we've been talking about just shifts dramatically how we see presenting to our audience.
For me, it's connect and stay connected, right? So I'm never like, I don't even like going into a classroom and standing behind the lectern podium. I come out from in front of it. I tell my students, I don't want anything in between us.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's like establish and maintain connection. And it's like I do this exercise sometimes where, I ask people to put their hands together and press on one hand with the other hand as hard as you can. And they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. It's like, hang on, I didn't say press back. Right. Right. So resistance is automatic for anything that feels pressed upon. But if we just kind of align our hands, now wherever one's going, the other one's coming with. And that's what I want as a speaker. I want to be like this with my audience. No matter where I go, they're coming with me. Right. Yes. And even no matter where they want to go, I can go with them. I'm going to be so prepared for the situation that if they have a question, if they have a confused expression on their face, or if there's a power outage in the room, or somebody spills a cup of coffee, or anything that happens in that room, I want to be right there with them. Does that make sense? Right. So,
Yeah.
so I love that. And I think the shift is important from going from speaking out or speaking to connecting with and taking people on that ride. All right. Anything else, Sue, before I ask Dee how she's doing on a Friday? Dee, how you doing on a Friday?
Hi, Dee.
Hi, Sue. Hi, Jeff. It's been quite a week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The short week just really been super busy, like everybody, it seems like. But it's a beautiful day in Colorado, so I can't complain.
Yeah, there's I don't, this is fun to admit until it's not, like it's, but there have been minutes somewhere. I can't say hours, but there have been like full minutes this week where I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know how long ago that was, or wait, oh, it's Friday? Wait, what's today? There's been minutes this week where I've had to like stop. Wait a second.
Okay.
Wait, this is Wednesday, right? Oh my God. That happened yesterday. It was just Tuesday. That feels like that happened 4 days ago. Or there's been minutes where I've had that kind of interesting processing of orientation to space and time. But I do love it. Like as embarrassing it is to realize that I'm getting older and I don't know what day it is or why I went into the kitchen or, all of that. I remember all the 80s lyrics to the songs, but I don't know about why I'm standing in the kitchen right now. All of that old stuff getting old. I just love this time of year. Like before you came on, we said, hey, it's the fall, fall's over. The rest of the year's just begun. Kids are back in school. Summer vacations are done. Schedules are stabilizing. People are recommitting to business and projects and realizing that if I don't get some stuff happening now, I'm not going to schedule this till January if I don't get it on calendar by the second week of November. So there's an energy, there's a sprint, a push. People are realizing that, okay, playtime's over a little bit, and the new semester starting at San Diego State, and all the wonder of having 88 brand new students. And for me personally, the Integrity Game 90-day challenge got started just 2 days ago. What is it today? Friday? Yeah, 2 days ago. Here I go again. Yep. 2 days ago, we did the overview session, and so wildly excited about that energy too. So I'm doing these things on Friday with Sue, and it's great to see you, Dee. But now Wednesdays are in the mix now, so I'm going to be, I'm leading programming, I'm teaching classes, I've got my client engagements. I'm at a client's office right now, and it's busy. And thank God, because when I consider the alternative, I don't want it. They've spent plenty of time in my life, like sitting around wondering, how is my calendar going to fill up and what's going on? And I love that I don't have to worry about that. So there, I'm like, that might fall through a crack. Oh, that's a mistake. Whatever. I'll deal with all of that. But it's a function of the busyness and the activity, right? Nothing's perfect, but things are flowing. So let's see. Somebody put in a comment here. Let's see what we got. Zane out there says, Klu, it's Bruce. Long time no see. As usual, you're a great presenter. All right, it says Bruce Prokopets, but that's weird. It says Zane Frederick. Anyway, let me see if I can show that comment. There we go, Zane. All right, Klu, it's Bruce. Is it Zane or is it Bruce? I don't care. Bruce is loose and I'm in Zane. So happy Friday. My coffee's kicked in, obviously, but thanks, man. I appreciate that. We talked about this earlier with Sue just today, that guess what? I think if I watched it back and I was critical, I would technically, there's so many public speaking mistakes from a technical perspective I'm making, right? But you either forgive them or don't notice them at all because I'm so animated and I'm so connected emotionally to what I'm doing. It's so authentic, or, it's good enough where you'll forget my pauses or my restarts or any technical, a tongue click or a throat clear or a false start or a ramble or a tangent or a joke that just doesn't land. You forgive all of that because I'm being myself. So am I a great presenter or I'm just what, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be myself here, but I get energized when I see you guys coming on board. Sue, you've known this all the years that we've worked together. I always get this fantastic energy, and the same thing with you, Dee. When you come on you come on Fridays, it's just special. So I appreciate that. Now, thanks for that comment, Zane. Love to see you out there. Drop me a line, update me on what's happening for you, Bruce, Zane, Bruce. Does everybody see what I see there? Bruce, why are you logged into Zane's account? Never mind. I don't need to know. All right, let's go back to welcoming everybody to Get a Klu in 52 for speakers with Sue Mathieson. And also, Dee, what do you got?
I mentioned, I think last week, that, there was just a lot of good karma out there, it feels like recently. And I just signed, there's more, it keeps coming. I signed a new client this morning, and I'm getting ready to sign another new client. So,
Yeah.
I just, like you, I really can't complain. There's just so much going on out there, and I'm so excited, to do all these things. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, and we overcame some technical stuff this week, which is always like a major accomplishment, right? So we're synced up, and we've got integrity in how we're file sharing. For those of you that don't know, I'm thrilled to be providing some coaching support for Dee on her way to establishing herself as a subject matter expert in sustainability, with a bridge to how she infuses sustainability into every construction project that she manages. So you're one of the best in the business, Dee, and it's easy to promote you and support you. And I'm thrilled for the work that we're doing together. But back to Get a Clue in 52 for speakers. And Sue, let me ask you now, to had a moment to reflect. Let's make sure that we're thorough in commenting on or offering anecdotes or suggestions. Anything else from you about tip number 36, which is previewing our main points, or where we're at overall in our journey?
I think the main thing for me with these 5 elements of an introduction is it's been really helpful to revisit them, for one, but it's the application of them, not only in speaking, but in writing, in so many opportunities, in conversation, even if I'm in a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helped me to reflect on them continually, to the point of even bringing my audience along.
Yeah,
I apply it. I attend a church service regularly on a Sunday morning. I often lead the service. So is the application even in that, when I'm opening up the service, bringing the congregation into that moment of time. And so it's the application is gold, because it's meetings, it's speaking, it's
I love that.
writing, it's so many opportunities. And
if I may, I'm going to get visual here, right? And it's always a box of chocolates when Jeff goes to share his screen. We never know what we're going to get, but I'm getting a little more fluid, right? So we know that last week, if you guys can see my screen, last week we were on establishing credibility. And now this week, this is what we've read, signpost ahead. Okay. So this is this week's tip. But the reason I'm getting visual here is to piggyback on what you were saying, Sue. If we this section, now we can see a visual. Here it is. These are the elements of the introduction. If I can do it doesn't matter. I'm not memorizing word for word what I'm going to say. Like this piece of it, I don't have to memorize that piece of it. What I have to memorize is my objective. Am I going to grab attention? So let's say my speech is about, it's about teaching public speaking, right? My attention getter could be, how many of you have ever dropped an ice cream cone? It doesn't have to have anything to do with public speaking, right? But if I ask a question, I'm going to get your attention, right? It's like, yeah, me too. It sucks. But here's what doesn't suck is learning how to get better at public speaking. So today we're going to talk about 8 steps to fearless public speaking. And you want to pay attention because you're ignoring too many opportunities to advance your career in business. And we never want you to leave an opportunity on the table ever again. And I'm the best person to tell you about this today because I'm in my 23rd year of teaching public speaking and I've been all around the world and so forth. And as much as I'd love to go on for hours about this, I respect your time, right? So first we're going to talk about content. Then we're going to talk about delivery. And then finally, we're going to talk about audience, right? So now that I've introduced my topic, and that's right, transition, right? Now that I've introduced my topic, let's get into our first main point. So we're going to talk about transition sentences next week. But the idea is, you guys, as I go through that, can you tell Dee and Sue how this is burned into my brain, right? And I think this is what your comment is like, Sue, the more you go over this, the more you burn it into your brain. These 5 elements right here, they don't just live in an introduction to a speech. I can, I could say, hey, can we say, what's the purpose of our meeting today? Right? And I laugh, right? I could say to my wife at any time, hey, honey, what's the purpose of our marriage? Just kidding. And don't try that at home if you're listening, right? But I can, hey, you know what? You want to pay attention to this because, or, hey, guess what? Yes. Hey, kids, did you know that there's people that pay me thousands of dollars just to talk to me? So I might be coming from a really good place when I suggest you embrace this habit, right? I'm not a bad guy. I'm not trying to judge you. Like, I've got some credibility for what I'm sharing with you, right? So these things, I think this is what you're saying. When we burn this into our brain, and we understand, we've memorized not the exact words that I'm going to achieve these objectives, right? But if I memorize what the objectives are, now it's easier for me to do them in a speech, and it's easier for me to see the application for these objectives in other contexts. Is that what you're saying, Sue? And if so, I give it back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it is, because it's understanding those and why they're important. And so it makes you find opportunity to apply them so often. Yeah.
All right. Really, really, really cool. I love that. Love that. All right. So one really good takeaway here is that we're reminding people, as we've said in prior weeks, we're not speakers at, we're not speakers to. We are ushers. We are guides. We are Sherpas, right? Escorting people up the mountain of our speech. Okay. So we're guides. We want to connect with and guide people through our content, right? To the objective of the speech. What is the purpose of it? That's number one. Number two, these elements. Let's remind everybody of what section we're in. We're in elements, forms, and functions, right? So the first 5 elements that we've discussed: attention gator, topic statement, reason to listen, credibility, and a preview. And I've discussed today, I've showed 4 examples of how we can format, how we can formalize our preview, and then how does it function? We talked about that. Now, it doesn't just function to serve us inside, but Sue, as you pointed out, the other big takeaway is that these tips are not transactional living in the context of a speech only. They're transformational and helping us be better communicators in all contexts.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why we say get a clue in 52 for speakers, but speakers and non-speakers alike. Everybody can benefit from the book. So make sure everybody goes out and buys it. And the holidays are coming up, so get a copy for your friends. Anyway, what else? What else do we got? Right? What else do we have for today? So we're in section 4, and today's tip, of course, is to signpost ahead. Make sure that we are presenting, like you guys driving on the freeway and you see the big sign and it's, exit here 4.5 miles, exit here 2.5 miles, exit here 1 mile, right? So we know what's going on, and it makes us feel stable, and we have the courage to keep going, and right, and it orients our attention, and on and on and on. We want to do the same thing as a speaker. So that's what we're talking about today. Now, before we get into some shameless plugging of the Integrity Game 90-Day Challenge and the overview sessions and all of that, let me open up anything else on the content of the tip, today's tip, before we move over into promoting your all-star session, Sue, which is coming up in a week and a half.
Before, I've got more of a question for Dee, actually. Dee, I'm interested to some of your journey as you've been moving into this speaking environment. Just interested to hear more about how that's working for you. What are you enjoying? I love your topic that you're talking about, sustainability, your expertise. Yeah, just keen to hear what's happening for you.
I just love to teach. And so, in my view, whether you're getting up, at a conference and, to be a keynote, or you're teaching, a specific topic, it's all an opportunity to share and to help others grow, as we've all grown in our careers as we go. And it's so fun to get different questions from people. My students just ask the best questions. And I love it when they ask a question I don't know the answer to, because they're making me think. And they're making me grow and helping me learn and continue to be the best that I can be. So it's, sustainability specific. My goodness, my journey has lasted well over 20 years now. And I'm still experimenting, and I'm still learning, and I'm still growing, and I'm still teaching sustainability to anybody who will stop and listen. And as Jeff and I have talked about before, with my construction and engineering clients, they get sustainability when they hire me, whether they want
whether they like it or not, or whether they know or not. I love that. It's my favorite. Yeah.
I bring it to everything I do. I can't not do it. It's just not even possible for me to not inject sustainability into everything that I'm doing. And I actually had the pleasure of reacquainting myself with a young lady in the industry that I met years ago when she was just starting. And, you know, now she's an experienced project manager, and she was telling me about all the sustainability stuff that she's doing. And she's really excited about, you know, some of the classes that I'm teaching and my upcoming book. So it's just really fun to talk with people about it.
Fantastic. I love it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Now I got to jump on this opportunity, Sue. I think I can speak Sue, and I think that, you know, sustainability and teaching is one thing, but like, are you asking Dee about like this whole like integrity game, Klubeckian ecosystem of, right? What is it like to be like the totality of it all, right? Because let me
Well,
ask you,
that
Dee,
too, definitely.
more
Yeah.
importantly, weren't you on the overview session the other day for the Integrity Game 90-day challenge?
I was on, and I did not have my camera on, and I didn't speak. I wasn't
Right.
feeling well that day. So
That's okay.
I was listening, but I was not speaking.
All right. So I want to transition into that. And I want to see maybe, you know, like to parlay or to, you know, piggyback on what Sue was asking, right? Because we, you know, the first 10 tips in this book are the 10 tips from the integrity game, but the integrity game has its own programming as well, and repurposing content and etc. Right. And what I want everybody to know out there is that we are running right now. It's kind of like the 90-day challenge is evergreen, right? And I'm going to end up screen sharing on this because it's time to just, you know, promote what we're doing. But specifically, let me see if I got to figure out which window I need to pull up. Be patient with me here. I'm laughing at myself as normal. And then there's this. Yes. Okay. Very cool. All right. So I'm ready to share now. Here we go. So let me present and share screen, and let's go to this window and let's pick this one. All right. So what everybody can see right here is, and let me put it up on the banner as well. Is there? So there you go. Now you can see the banner. 90-day challenge all-star sessions have begun. So what the all-star sessions are is where I find subject matter experts that I can interview that will help me go deeper on the 10 points of the integrity game model. And so back to screen sharing, what you can see here is this is a direct link when you go integritygame.com/Sue. It'll go right to her all-star session right here. So Sue as an integrity game certified coach, and Debbie, Susan Melbourne, Australia, and Debbie's in South Africa, and they're bringing the Integrity Game International. And so this is where you could register for free to attend an all-star session. So the all-star sessions, they populate the 90-day challenge online program. So it's free to attend an all-star session, but the 90-day challenge is a paid, self-guided online coaching program. We were giving it away at a real discount in August for people to get in and be test users of it. That code is expired now. It's legit full price now, right? But the idea is when people sign up for the 90-day challenge, you get, you know, invited to our live sessions. You get access to previous recordings, 2 one-on-one sessions with an Integrity Game certified coach. We've got the private Facebook group. You get access to our SMART goal setting workshop, a set of behavioral assessments, a copy of the Integrity Game book, your own set of behavioral assessments. And you have the option here. People have the option of getting our season pass for free for 3 months, and it converts to a $97 a month subscription. So anybody that enrolls, they end up coming here to the arena. This is where all of our online stuff is going to live, is the arena for the integrity game. And we go to take course, you'll see all the courses that I'm building and that are showing up in my portal. But now we've got the 90-day challenge right here. And Sue, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but this is where people get their one-on-one sessions, join the Facebook group, download their workbooks. But look, here's Wednesday's session right here. I'm already starting to populate volume 3. So this is Wednesday's recording, and it's got a little write-up of what you'll learn in this recording, and it's an overview of the integrity game overall. And so next week, when we do Purpose Week with Aaron and Lori, that session will be loaded here. And then 2 weeks from now, that's when we're going to be right here. Right. So the countdown is kicking. 19 days until Potential Week with Debbie and Sue. And what people can see here is that I've already done a whole volume of interviews with subject matter experts. Actually, I've done 2 volumes, right? And so we're building volume 3 right now. And so that's the 90-day challenge. I'm really excited about it. But Dee, I don't know if you checked this out when you first enrolled, but now the goal setting course looks better. We've got it dialed in with the images and descriptions for the sessions, and we've put the documents in there that people need to download. So that's looking a lot better. And then we've got confident, I think this looks really good. The confident communicator, solid. The write-ups are there. The branding is there. The downloads are there. The sessions are there. And we've put the images on to make it all look restaurant quality. And so when I talk about season pass, right, people can join the arena for free right here. And we're going to put a bunch of free content in here to make it valuable for people to join. But as far as a season pass is concerned, that's what people have the option of getting the subscription to. So we're going to put full versions of all of these courses available in the season pass. So like all of this content, you're going to have, it's going to be hard for you to like watch it all in a year, right? But every time you need something, there's going to be the go-to. So whether it's our flyby coaching videos or learning how to do assessment debriefs, because everybody gets a copy of their own assessments with the 90-day challenge. And so this stuff is looking real good. Click here to access 90-day challenge, or click here to access the confident communicator. And so we're building all of this out, and it's evolving and it's emerging. And I'm really excited to share it. It's been a lot of work, and my hat goes off and my thanks go out to all of the marketers that they don't need the limelight. They're not camera facing like I am, but people behind the scenes that are doing graphics, doing video editing, programming, the back end, creating the landing pages, creating the affiliate links. I mean, I can't thank, people like Edgar's and Leslie and Stella and Rakesh and all the marketing specialists that I've been able to, attract to my team literally around the world, whether it's Nepal or Latvia or the Philippines. It's a real fun endeavor for me to be working with people from all these different countries, creating an opportunity to get the experience that they're looking for. I've just got this vision from 50,000 feet elevation that the world's going to be playing the integrity game, and all of a sudden, look at all this stuff that they're doing and creating around it. So I'm a lucky dude, and I want to make sure that I'm promoting Sue's all-star interview. That's going to be in 19 days, as you can see right here. The counter is ticking away. It's totally free to register for that all-star session. But if you want everything that comes with the 90-day challenge, then that's a paid program, and we make it I think it's affordable for all the value that we're putting in there. But that's that. How did we do, Sue?
Fabulous. Oh, it's looking amazing. I think it's just come together beautifully in all those years and years of work that you've done, your recordings, your content. To see it all come together in one package is really inspiring.
I'm really excited about it. Like, I mean, I don't want to dilute the purpose of today too much, but just to get back into it again, you guys, Dee, you may not know this, but when I was traveling the world on a lot of assignments, I had a commitment to myself in the year 2017 that I thought maybe I'd be lucky to get 26 of them, but it went into 2018 and I ended up getting over 90 of them. But I got these flyby coaching videos. I've got over 90 flyby coaching videos where every time I took off on an airplane, I would shoot a 2 to 5 minute video worth of content, right? And so these flyby coaching videos, they're specifically supporting what we're talking about in the integrity game. But I've got still so much more to upload. My Mind the Gap series, or the book recommendations that I've made, or I've got this series called Tree of Life. Like, why do we pursue anything and risk harm and cuts and scrapes and bruises or falling out of the tree? Well, we have to be clear about what are the 5 major categories of fruit that exist in this life that motivate us to go and take chances and get out there and do what we need to do in the world. So I'm nowhere near, I'm not even halfway done populating this, but at least it looks restaurant quality. It justifies the value. And I can't encourage you strongly enough to get in and check this out. But let me just go ahead and ask, Dee, what do you think of all of this integrity game ecosystem, online 90-day challenge, the arena stuff that we're building? What do you think?
I love it. Everything that I've seen and read so far, and I still have a long way to go, has been great. And I'm wholly impressed with the volume of content that you've developed. It's very impressive.
Yeah,
you're right. It's a little daunting just with what I'm seeing now, and then to hear you say you don't even have half of it up yet.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, and let me just slow down in one note of seriousness. I want to make a brand promise out there. anything that anybody could possibly, quote unquote, get from us, right? One thing that you'll notice, if you want 8 Steps to Fearless Public Speaking as its own little e-course, it comes with 2 sessions, right? Everything it comes with 2 one-on-one sessions. So you never have to be daunted. You just reach out and you schedule your coaching sessions when you need a guide, when you need somebody to escort you through this, or when you need a soundboard, or when you've made some progress and you need some feedback. But I can show you, it's, pick a course, any course. Here's Confident Candidate. It's really, I got to do some background stuff there on the branding, but this is very simple. This is like a very, very, very mini course. It's a conference call and a workbook. No big deal. But it still comes, right? It's still going to come with your one-on-one sessions with an Integrity Game certified coach, right? So everything that we do, whether it's 90-day challenge, right there, book your 2 one-on-one sessions. Is it flyby coaching videos? Is it strategic staffing? Is it confident communicator? Right here, boom, book your private session. So no matter where you go, we're going to make sure that you've got the link to book a one-on-one session with an Integrity Game certified coach that can support you and point you in the right direction. Oh, you need to watch that. Oh, don't watch this now. Here's where you want to go. Check out this volume or this lesson or this module, or right. So we're here to help you. We want it to be online. We want it to be self-paced, right? But we're here. It's hybrid in that regard. So I wanted to make sure that you never have to, we're human beings, right? We're never overwhelmed. Maybe we're whelmed, but never overwhelmed, especially when an Integrity Game certified coach is here to help you retrofit. So we've made it. Are you guys ready? Drum roll, please. You know what's coming, don't you, Sue? Last call.
I need to make it.
All right. Yeah. Last call. Anything, comments, questions, expressions of gratitude, dad jokes, even though that's my department, but you guys can tell 1 or 2 if you want. Limericks, haikus, anything like that.
Just always fun to be here. It's great. I love it.
All right. Dee, anything from you in terms of last call?
One of these days I'm going to come prepared with a joke or something.
Okay.
I can't remember jokes. I love jokes. I love dad jokes specifically.
Oh yeah.
I love all that stuff. And limericks and all of it. I just can't remember any of it.
Did I tell you guys that one of my, I don't even know if it's a guilty pleasure, but sometimes it can get crazy, but I'm not going to be drinking this year for Halloween. That's for sure. I'm in 90-day challenge mode. So I'm not touching alcohol for at least 90 days, but I have a lot of fun on Halloween making the kids tell a Halloween joke if they want to get candy. Right. So they come up and they go to reach. I'm like, hang on. Tell me a Halloween joke. And they go, what? And I'm like, hey, hang on. And if I tell a Halloween joke and they don't, then I get to reach into their bag and take some of their candy. And they go, what? That's not fair. And I'm like, come on, you're kids. You have phones. Go to the sidewalk, ask Siri for a joke and come back and tell it. And so there's kids lining up, and sometimes kids come 5, 6, 7 times in a row with a new joke each time, knowing that we've got a big old pumpkin, huge hand. And if the joke is weak, I'm like, all right, 2 pieces of candy. But if the joke is funny, I'm like, all right, handful. Right. And so the amount of candy they get based on the laugh-o-meter. And this is what I do for fun on Halloween. Right. So I'm going to ask you guys why the skeleton failed to cross the road.
Don't know.
Fell apart.
Had no guts.
Of course.
Right. Yeah, but you know what that was? It was different. It was different for the ghost. Why didn't the ghost cross the road? Had no body to go with. All right. You guys, if you take all of the insides of a hot dog out, you get a Halloweeny. All right. That's 3 dad jokes, and they're all in the Halloween variety. The holidays are upon us. October's around the corner. Yeah. Last call. Last call for comments, jokes, riddles, anything before we dismiss for today.
I can't even compare to that.
All right.
No, I'll just go away laughing, I think.
All right. Well, that's what we want. That's what we deserve. We work hard and we play hard. Let's integrate work hard, play hard. One's not worth it without the other, according to Kluby snack. One's not worth it without the other when it comes to work hard, play hard. All right, you guys, I love you both. And I'm grateful that you're here every week, and it energizes me to no end. And happy Friday. And we're off to on our way to the holidays and sprinting hard to the end of the year. Let's make it great. 2024 still got a lot of room to kick some major booty, and I'm along for the ride. Thank you, guys. We'll see everybody next week. All right.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.